Arsenal 4, Atletico Madrid 0. It was a destruction, a demolition, a baptism, a circumcision in North London tonight. Arsenal rampant, dangerous, and dare I say it, scary. Hit that like button. Make sure you are subscribing. Get the bell notification button turned on as well. Newcastle winning 3-0. Fantastic performance from them at St. James's Park. City winning 2-0 away from home at Villarreal as well. Plus some massive results tonight. You can see them all up on the screen. Actually, what we'll do, we'll change the overlay a little bit as well. Rather than the video printer, we'll put all the live scores up. There's some crazy results. PSG winning 7-2. PSV beating Napoli 6-2 tonight. Dortmund 4-2 away. What a treat. What an evening of Champions League football we have just witnessed, and we're going to break it all down for you. We've got a panel coming for you later, so no better place to go. Legitimately, no better place to go. Proper analysis, real fan analysis, and even more importantly, in my opinion, to that is you guys, the viewers, the Football Terrace community. You guys are amazing. Thank you to everybody from That's Football that's also joined us. Thank you for being here. If you're not subbed already, get that done. Luke Skywalker here straight away. Hit the likes. Absolutely. Thank you, Luke. I appreciate that a lot. Garrett here says, Arteta has redefined total football. Either stop us or shut the fuck up, you jealous rival bums, is what Garrett says here. And every player's job at Newcastle was to get the ball to Isak. Liverpool players are only playing for themselves. It's never going to work for Isak there. A little bit of a random comment this evening, but it's one that's come through, and I thought we'd read it out. But thank you, Cynical Jim, for letting us know that. And look, there's loads to go through tonight. There's loads to speak on. Oh, it's because the super chats are now in reverse. I get it now. There we go. Haters, where are you now? This is what happens when teams want to win against us. Gyokeres is back. I'm glad for him. Come on, you Gooners, is what Frat Fouled Prodigy says here. This comment from Husky, one of our members, he says, Terry, what a result. Big up to the Football Terrace. And that's what it was. It was a fantastic result tonight for Arsenal. Actually, all the English teams had brilliant nights. But I just feel that Arsenal's was interesting to me. And I am glad the opening goal was a set piece. I can't lie to you. I love the fact that it was a set piece. I love the fact that that's how the first goal of the game went in. I'm a bit of a shithouse myself. Sometimes a bit of shithousery in football is good, but Arsenal were devastating. They were fast-paced. They were rampant. The tempo was high. There's been a lot of nonsense said in the mainstream media in the past 48 hours about how they don't play very nice football, how they're not a good footballing team, and that it's all about set pieces. It's all about sort of being Tony Pulis FC, Stoke FC with a higher budget. This has really annoyed me because it's such low rent, poor quality punditry on every single level. Let's just have it right. Let's just speak honestly. It's such low quality punditry. It's unbelievable how bad it's been. If you just watch Arsenal away at Newcastle, you know they can play, and they do play beautiful football. But Atletico tonight did what every other team has done against Arsenal throughout the course of this season. Even the mighty Pep Guardiola's City, they sit back, they're largely dogmatic, and they make it hard. But Arsenal began the game with an amazing tempo, with an amazing thrust, and were quite unlucky, really, not to take the lead. There was an own goal, sorry, not an own goal, an offside goal from Gabriel Martinelli. It was a brilliant bit of play that led to a shot from Eze. That deflects, it hits the post. Rice probably, in my opinion, should have done a little bit better with the volley. There was 2 or 3 times where Saka was played in, Oblak making excellent saves. Saka, again, by the way, I don't actually know, because I've just forgotten. I'm going to have to go back and look. I don't know if he got any quote-unquote GA tonight in this game. No, he didn't. But he was fantastic. He was a constant threat again. Another one of those games, Arsenal fans, when you're in debates and people say, well, tell me about a time when Bukayo Saka had a good game when he didn't get a goal or an assist. Just quote this game. The date, the time, the match, the opponent. He was fantastic. But overall, I thought Arsenal had a very, very good first half. They just didn't score. They just couldn't make the breakthrough. But that's because Atletico, and there's proof of this in the second half, in a 14-minute spell that equaled the heaviest defeat ever for a Diego Simeone side in Europe. I want to say that again. A 14-minute spell that led to the joint biggest defeat in Diego Simeone's managerial career. In Europe, of course. The second half begins, and the commentators were saying that Arsenal were sluggish. They weren't. Arsenal were calculated. Arsenal were conservative. And it was a good trick. I don't know the name of this animal, but it's an animal that lives in the ocean. And it lays on the ground, and its tail does this. Its tail wiggles, and it looks like a worm. And it attracts what would be predators to a worm, but to him or her, they're prey. And as certain fish think it's a worm and they get close, bang, they get it. I want to say it's in the sea. If it's on land, I apologize. And that is what Arsenal did. They played possum, would be a great expression. Started to move the ball quicker, started to open Ati up. And then they get a free kick. Gabriel works hard, wins a free kick. And I can't tell you, just as a football fan who has had to listen to Jamie Carragher and Jamie O'Hara in the past 24 to 48 hours say such disgraceful things about the game we love, how it's embarrassing to be good at set pieces, how it's damaging the Premier League product and all this nonsense. What a cross from Declan Rice. Barring KDB, Trent Alexander-Arnold and David Beckham, I can't think of a more consistent crosser of the ball than Declan Rice in the Premier League. Ward-Prowse will have a shout. Gerrard has a really good shout. But the ball from him was delightful. It was put into that corridor of uncertainty. Gabriel with another goal. It was 1-0. The only thing I was disappointed with, I'm not going to lie, is that Gabriel didn't do the... he didn't celebrate like he was in a cold shower. And the Arsenal fans should have sung, instead of set piece again, ole, ole, it should have been cold shower again, ole, ole. They should have took the piss, right? That's the only thing. But then what we witnessed in the next 13 minutes was sensational. Firstly, the Martinelli goal. Martinelli's finish was Thierry Henry-esque, and it deserves credit, and it deserves plaudits, and it deserves to be highly praised. But Miles Lewis-Skelly, who's been on the periphery this year for Arsenal, and I think that's sensible for a player of his age, and Calafiori has been amazing. The touch, the half turn, and the progressive dribble, I wouldn't even call it a run, it was a dribble with the ball from Skelly. The weight of pass, those three things, well, four, touch, turn, dribble, and pass, from Miles Lewis-Skelly, it gets the assist. I mean, that's maybe the truest version, the most complete version of an assist you'll ever see. You'll never see an assist more true, more complete, more deserving than that from Miles Lewis-Skelly. And he's a baby. He's still a baby. He's still a fledgling. And he did that. He runs through the heart of a Diego Simeone Atletico Madrid team. Out of this world. Take a bow, young man. Dangerous, deadly, dynamic. We already started to see what then happens when a team opens up. Because as soon as they conceded, Ati, they opened up 2-0. They stayed open. They spread like peanut butter. 3 minutes later, another well-worked goal. The finish, there's a little fortune. There's a little fortune for Victor Gyokeres. But the build-up play to that goal again cut Simeone's Atletico Madrid to ribbons. The ball then falls at Victor Gyokeres, and he may never score a scrappier goal. The finish in itself, I mean, the play at 0-0, there was a great bit of play on the edge of the box where Zubimendi puts the ball into Gyokeres. He gets a good touch, and the goalie saves it. That would have been a more beautiful, elegant goal to watch. The finish for Gyokeres' first goal was very scrappy. There's no doubt. No one's going to deny it. But I don't think he cares. I don't think Arsenal fans will care. They'll just look at that and go, we got it done. We did it. We delivered. 3 minutes after that, this was from another set piece, which again, I think every time Arsenal fans score from a set piece, your celebration should be so loud, so noisy, so potent that every single rival gets sick to their back teeth of it. Another very good cross. This time, Gabriel becomes the provider by heading it back across goal. And there he is with his penis to put the ball into the back of the net. Victor Gyokeres scores a goal with his manhood, makes it 4-0, and there you have it, a rout. That is what happens. That is what happens when teams open up against Arsenal Football Club. That is what happens when you go 1-0 down, then you try and play. That's why Fulham players just sat back, even with 5 minutes to go. They went, it's not worth it. Because that is what this Arsenal team can do. And I've been sick to my back teeth of listening to the awful punditry, blaming Arsenal for everybody being negative when they play them. Everybody else sitting behind the ball and Arsenal getting blamed for it. Like they're bribing opponents to be 11 men behind the ball. Like they're bribing opponents to not attack. And they've played some really good teams. And I say this with the utmost respect to Newcastle. I watched Newcastle outclass Liverpool the better part of 90 minutes. They couldn't do it against. They had periods in the game because Newcastle were very good, but they weren't dominating them. And Newcastle had to be more pragmatic in that game. Liverpool at Anfield, they weren't that attacking. There was no way Arne Slot would have gone 4-2-4 against Arsenal at any point to win a game, whether he's drawing or losing, because this Arsenal team will cut you to shreds. This Arsenal team scare opponents. Now, fans of rival clubs, depending on what club you are, you might go, I ain't scared of Arsenal. That's your prerogative. Teams are. Don't miss my words up. I'm not saying you're hiding. Don't be a man-child. Terry says I'll hide under my bed after Arsenal. It's like I'm scared, calling for my daddy. No. Actual teams, professional football players are scared. They never admit it. They're men. Men never like to admit what they're scared of. The fact that nobody wants to attack them speaks volumes. Well done to Victor Gyokeres tonight. There's been a lot of criticism on this man that he doesn't deserve. You think of all the new number 9s that have joined the Premier League or all the big number 9 exchanges so far this season. He had 3 goals already, but was getting more stick and more scrutiny than some far more expensive players that have already been in the Premier League. He was getting, you probably only Voldemaider, really, of all the new number 9s in the Premier League at the bigger clubs. I know there's obviously Tudor at, is Tudor is his name? Or is it Jesus? Why am I saying Tudor? I might have got his name wrong. The gentleman at Brentford who's had a very, very good start and everything else. But I'm talking about the Champions League clubs and the traditional Big 6 clubs. Voldemaider has had a brilliant start. But I felt that Gyokeres' criticism has been absolutely ridiculous. So I'm glad he got his brace today. Kind of wanted him to add a hat-trick to it, just again for the media to see what they would say and do. But that's 5 goals for him in what, 10? Is it 10, 11 games? I'm not even sure how many games he's played yet for Arsenal, if I'm being absolutely honest with you. Can't be that much more. I've only played 8. That's 11, I suppose. Maybe it is 12 because he's come on for some subs in some games. Yeah, it's 12 because he came on in the League Cup. But that's 5 goals in 12 games. It's not the greatest return ever. I'm not, you're not sitting here at 100% or anything, but it isn't the end of the world. And I think what he's going to now do after that is that confidence to be back. I wouldn't like to be a defender up against him this weekend. I wouldn't like to be a defender up against him in the next 2 or 3 weeks. with a little bit of confidence in him, a little bit more energy in those legs, because this man can score goals, and he showed it tonight. Both his goals were just sort of, the actual finishes were quite scrappy poachers goals. And those are things that Arsenal didn't do enough of last season, and you saw it tonight. So well done to him. For me, look, everyone's going to have their own man of the match. He gets a brace, so a lot of people will say Victor Gyokeres, and I get it. Gabriel scored again. Rice with a great free kick. But I am going to pick one man out, and I'm going to pick Miles Lewis-Skelly. That touch, turn, run, and set up, just astronomical. So good. I'm giving it to him, but that's just me. I want to get your views. I'd like to get your opinions, people, please, in our comments section below. But like, subscribe, get the video hyped up as well, please, people. Thank you very much indeed. Let's go to some of your comments that have come through here. Loads to talk about. We've got Kane coming on soon. He's going to be speaking about Newcastle. I'm not too sure where the other, who else is coming on the show tonight. I don't know. 1 second. Chelsea Don that comes on our channel still says that Mahala Mudryk is better than Martinelli. I love you, Don. Never change, please, brother. Never, ever, 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 ever change, please, ever. Bear with me a second, because I don't know. Should have asked KJ who's coming on, because now I don't know who I'm waiting for or what's going on. Okay, Shannon's just arrived. 1 second. There we go. Right, let's jump into some of your comments here. There's quite a few to get through. We absolutely dominated and controlled teams, is what Clively says here. Yeah, 100%. Arsenal were just fantastic. I assume you're an Arsenal fan looking at that picture. It looks like an Arsenal picture, but yeah, you did. Abraham here says, haram ball, this and that. Only team that played haram was Atletico, and oh my goodness, what a battering in a 13 minutes. Sack Arteta, ha ha ha. Come on, you Gooners. What I actually saw this on my TL during the game. PSG scored like 3 goals in a very short space of time. And I saw a few Gooners, some of the whingy moany ones, who were like, oh, my team could never do that. The fact that he then went and did it, he scored 4 in 13, 14 minutes is unbelievable. I love that kind of irony. Terry, it's Hanksky. You always mispronounce it. What do I call it? Hanksky. Maybe do you know what it is? Maybe I see the S as an E. Sorry, bro. 43 goals across 9 games tonight. Crazy. Yeah, we love the Champions League, man. We love the Champions League. Jamal here says, I don't really get how we get this narrative of being defensive or playing haram. It has to be trolling. Most games we play in the opposition's half. It's just lazy analysis from Arteta outers, so they have to go watch Laura Kirk's video about Arsenal fans pretending to be embarrassed that they score from set pieces. It's just a way of hating on Arteta. The media jump on it because they don't like to praise Arsenal. And rival fans, of course, they jump on it because that's it. But the Arsenal fans who attack their own club, they help create the narrative that the media and the rival fans go after. So if they were more supportive of their football team, you'd get less crap from rivals and you would get less crap from the media. Skelly, what a run and great finish, Martinelli. Come on, you Gooners. Yeah, it was fantastic. Arteta beat Lee Gunnar 4-0 tonight. Do you know, I didn't even think about that. Forget Lee. I'm not having a pop at him regarding this. A lot of the Arteta outers want Diego Simeone. Surely, by their logic of standards, getting beaten 4-0 by the man they think's a bum means... So, Joe, I don't know. I'd love to hear from some Arteta outers. I don't think any of them were sharp on camera tonight, though. Atty, but by the way, on Lee, a few people were saying, what do you think Lee would say? I'm sure Lee's buzzing tonight. There's no way for Lee Gunnar to be unhappy. I think he gets a bad rap on that. He'll be celebrating. He'll be praising. He'll be praising Arteta, praising the team. Of course he will, 100%. Atty in hot water the entire game. Coincidence? They need a cold shower tonight after that beating, I tell you. Thank you for this super chat. Nothing was said, but thank you so much for the donation, my friend. That means a great deal to me. I'll always hold back, but with this depth, we are winning the Champions League or Premier League. Yes, long at Austin Airport as I have to leave the F1. Listen, I think you can win the Champions League or Premier League. It's still hard to do. But there's something about this Arsenal team. There is a togetherness with this Arsenal team. There's like a grit and a determination. And a few weeks ago, when the results weren't quite going your way, it was a couple of, the Liverpool game as an example and things like that. I always look for something when I see fans calling for their manager to be sacked or for mass change. I look to see whether or not the players are playing for a manager. And there hasn't been a single sign to me that these players have lost faith in Mikel Arteta. You spent big and very well in the summer. You brought in quality. And I felt this is the first season in my life where I saw meltdowns, in my opinion, far too early. The league, even though you're top at the minute, the league table doesn't really start to take shape until after 10 to 12 games. That's when you really start to see it settle for the first time. And you can see, it's like pouring a pint of Guinness. It just takes a little bit of time for it to look right. And Arsenal could be in a position in the next couple of weeks where they have a 3 to 6 point gap over their two biggest title rivals. And if you get to that point, 10, 11, 12 games in, 100% record in the Champions League, just one shot on target conceded in the last 3 matches, complete 3 clean sheets in the Champions League since it began. And you played a difficult team now as well. It's not like you're just playing some of the minnows. You got your next game, I think, against Slavia Prague away. Go and win that. Have 12 points. I think most teams are aiming for between 16 to 17 points to guarantee a top 8 finish. Arsenal were already more than halfway to that, 3 games into their 5. And if you could get yourselves qualified with a couple of games to go, it means you can rotate. It means you can rest players. It means fresher legs for those Premier League games. Anything's possible, Feldman. Anything's possible. I mean this as a sincere compliment. Arsenal, strangle their opponents with how well they keep the ball, the efficiency in taking their chances. You know what, Patrick, I find really, they're very good at holding the ball. They're very good at pinning teams back. They're very good at moving it from side to side in that horseshoe motion. I know a lot of Arsenal fans moan about it. I don't. If you actually go and do coaching badges, that way of moving the ball from side to side, it's like so typical. It's like it's almost like laughing at somebody because they put one foot ahead of the other to walk. It's the basic foundation. And it's just individuals are so good. There's a player I didn't mention tonight who I just thought had a fantastic game. It came into my head when I read your super chat, Patrick, was Urian Timber. The man is just sensational. And it's Harry gets out of little spaces. He'll be facing the wrong way with 2 players around him, and he'll drop a shoulder one way. He'll do a little feint, and then suddenly he's gone. Outstanding. I know not many people will mention him, but Zubi is world class. The way he was controlling that midfield was an absolute joy to watch. Yeah, I felt the Zubimendi deal, whenever you guys got linked to him, was always going to be a game changer for you. I thought it was always going to be a really big game changer. Give you something really different, and it's proving true. Thank you to Gavla for becoming a member. I really appreciate that, mate. Grey Wolf's Dinner, who is a Chelsea fan, I will add here, says, well done, Arsenal. The autumn champs can't be stopped. Jokes aside, I don't like this new champs format. These games just feel like glorified friendlies. What are you talking about? These games, they're amazing. They mean something, because every point, every goal is essential to try and finish inside that top 8. And remember, the higher you get in the top 8, if you're in the top 2, you guaranteed, I think, to have all your second leg knockout games at home. It's so much more to play for than there used to be in these group stages, bro. Every time the ball is in the box, Yok 14 is there. I hear you. Set piece FC, clean sheet FC, free scoring FC is what Raul says. For me, man of the match is Martinelli. Another very good game. Who knew? Listen, another thing I want to say, this isn't about Arsenal. This is about every single one of you, no matter who you support. Stop having footballing conversations with anybody. And I don't care if this is gatekeeping. I am on this one. Because we can all get predictions wrong. This striker will work. We'll win this game. You'll lose that game. They're just predictions. There are certain fundamentals within the game that I think are now non-negotiable, non-debatable, and fact. net spend isn't real is a cast iron, mathematically proven fact. And when I mean mathematically, clubs don't use it. We shouldn't. Now, I've got another one for you. We shouldn't sign a new player. What about the path? What about the pathway for Martinelli? What about the pathway for Rashford? And it's funny how Martinelli had a couple of years of going backwards. You buy competition and his level goes up. If you've got a player that shrinks away from competition, you should instantly sell him because he's a shithouse. I don't care if that offends you. It's a non-debatable point now. It's a cast iron fact. Pressure creates diamonds or it bursts pipes. The burst pipes you get rid of, you replace them with better ones. Simple as that. We move. Martinelli, well done you, sir. Of all the long ball throws this season, Popes was by far the best. Was it a long ball that set up the second goal? Because I heard because the way I watch it, I had Arsenal on the TV, and then I had the other games on these screens. And by the time I heard like Barnes and then the goal, I looked and I didn't quite see it. But Newcastle played very well tonight, by the way. Very, very well tonight, by the way. Made some good saves as well, Pope. Some very good saves. Joshua Jack here says, I do want to say at the beginning, I said Napoli had some chance of winning the competition, as Arsenal do retract that. They've got absolutely body bagged by PSV. I will say, though, Arsenal do look scary. Do you know what, Josh? Napoli are a weird one because Antonio Conte is the strangest manager I think to ever exist. He is Jekyll and Hyde. When it comes to league football, he's Hyde, because Hyde's a nice one, right? The clever one. When it comes to the Champions League, he's a monster. And I don't mean it in a good way. I don't understand why Antonio Conte teams in Europe invariably look shit. They're so weird. Terry, set pieces are part of football. If teams aren't as good, they will moan. But I still think, but I will still scream every time the ball touches the back of the net. And so you should, Tommy. So you should, listen, it won't happen. But if I could wave a magic wand right now, and let's just live in a world where it's going to be one of three teams winning the league. I think we all know it's one of three teams. We'll live in some element of reality, even though I've got a wishing wand. Right? That makes sense, right? Like a superhero movie, it's all normal until the alien arrives. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. That's why Marvel worked quite well, because it felt quite real until actually the best Superman movie, that's why Chris Nolan's Batman was so good, because the whole thing felt real. It's like there really was a Batman. Normally they're a bit far-fetched and camp. But anyway, let's get away from that. Back to the football. What were we even talking about? We were talking about set pieces. If I could wish, everyone knows I prefer Arsenal to win the league over Liverpool or City because those two are my biggest rivals. If I could make a wish on top of that, it would be for every goal Arsenal to score now to be from a set piece. Because it'd just be funny to watch the meltdown. Marvelous it would be. Bloody marvelous. Bloody marvelous. Whoever is Arteta out needs to switch to a different sport. Come on, you gooners, is what Magnum says here. You said it. When people open up, it's over. Loved your boxing metaphor when you covered your head in the other video. But it's thank you, Frederick. But it's just the truth. I didn't understand why Fulham did this for 90 minutes, even when they were losing, and Arsenal got blamed for being defensive. It was so backwards to me. Giving flowers to Rice. Unbelievable passes tonight. Miles Lewis-Skelly was on fire. I think many haters are just jealous of our defense. Gyokeres will hit 20. Come on, you gooners. Yeah, I think he can hit 20 goals this season. Very plausible. Arteta stopped the showers so that Atty could get back home stinking. Call us set piece FC. I'll take it all day long, is what Gavalar says. Another clean sheet, no goals against in the Champions League. This is very, very true. And games are won with different strategies. If the team is sitting low block, then the set pieces and corners become the answers. We are the kings of it. You certainly are. And I just again, the only people really that would moan about it are jealous people that don't want you to win, or Arteta outers who never want to admit. They're the only two: jealous rivals or Arteta outers who are scared of having to admit they were wrong. It's all it really comes down to. They're the only people that will criticize it. in my humble opinion. Right, time to bring the panel out on the show. Now we've got Brannon backstage, Anton, we've got Ash and Kane, we've got V. We're going to be covering all the English teams tonight. They'll be having their say on their teams. I know I always do this, but I want to thank the super chatters for everything you do for us. You're very, very kind and very, very generous. Tomorrow morning, just as a heads up for you all, so you know, 11 a.m. I'm live, Hot Takes, myself and Mark Goldbridge right here on the Football Terrace. I want to see you all back here for that show if possible. Straight Facts with Hassam. Oh, I can't wait to see Hassam tomorrow. I've got a little special intro for him, so make sure you're tuning in. That'll be around 3:30 UK time as well. So let's bring everybody out now. Let me just move. I've got to do a few bits of admin before I bring everybody out. Let me just move that off my screen, and let me start bringing everybody out. Oh no, you can't see my face now. I've got to move it because if you don't see my face, you've got to leave. There we go. Welcome back to the show. Congrats to all of you for winning tonight in the Champions League. Lots of goals, lots of excitement, and we've got a lot on Arsenal in the opening 31 minutes, to be fair. 1 second. Yeah, and I'll go to you in a minute, Anton, on that, no worries. But because we've spent 31 minutes on Arsenal, we will just go to a couple of the other teams first. And Kane, Newcastle, 3-0.
Yes, bud. What can I say? Great display. I wrote notes down. I'll go through the negatives first just to get them out of the way because there were a couple. I thought the first half was very reminiscent of the Brighton game where I thought our build-up play and our sort of progression of the ball was superb. But when it came to that final third, it was either some sloppy finishing, the wrong choice, or like just the wrong pass. Which kind of left the first half looking a bit nervy. Dan Burn got a bit exposed a couple times with some of those diagonal balls. Nick Pope with a great save early on kept it 0-0, and we managed to see out the first half. This referee, I've been told a lot of times that this is the best referee in the world. I think it was the one that reffed the World Cup final. It was actually the same referee that gave away that horrible PSG away decision last time we were in the Champions League. And this time, the guy, I swear to Christ, Benfica players doing breakdancing on the floor, and he's given everything. And then Newcastle getting nothing. 2 penalties should have been given, but weren't. But hey, they were the negatives. We'll move them to the side. Now we'll talk about the positives. And that was my team, mine and Ash's team. I'll first start off. Team selection, Eddie Howe, spot on. Great rotation, bringing in Jacob Ramsey, dropping Sandro to give him some time off. Lewis Miley looked impeccable at the number 6. Really held his own, allowed Bruno to push forward, which really benefited what we were doing. Patterns of play, again, we're starting to see like the emergence of how Newcastle are going to play with Nick Voltemade up front. And I have to say, it's absolutely breathtaking at times. It really is. Just the way he receives the ball under pressure and manages to lay it off neatly to one of the wingers. You start to see now, even with like the first attempt before the first goal and including the first goal, you're seeing as we play it into him. He then plays it onto one of the wingers, marauding forward. And then you're seeing our midfielders getting in the box and almost scored in the first few minutes. And then you saw for the first goal, how we play, move to one wing, square it for the other winger. I have to say, Anthony Gordon was absolutely phenomenal.
Sensational.
I can't fault him in any way today. He got his goal. He got an amazing assist. His link-up play, how he not only did he terrorize the right back, he's also floating into the middle now, into that number 10 role at times and linking up the play with Nick. That third goal, I swear to Christ, I wrote down, as soon as that third goal in, I wrote down, I love watching my team. And that's what it was. It was so fluid how we win the ball up high. We progress it forward. Anthony Gordon floats in. Lovely 1-2 of Voltemade, who then just plays it into Harvey Barnes. And a simple finish. And it was just breathtaking. I really was. Chow and Botman at the back.
Who else needs to be spoke about? Kane, who else needs to be spoke about? Come on.
I mean, I want to talk about Nick. I want to talk about Chow and Botman. I thought they were superb at the back. So good under pressure. they managed to play the ball like no other. The way they penetrate and passes straight through to Nick Voltemada into the midfield, and just their defensive work rate was immense. And then Nick Pope, I want to give a special shout out to Nick Pope, because who needs good feet when you can throw like Nick Pope does? That assist.
He's got an assist.
Yes, I saw someone in the chat, actually. He actually has more assists than Florian Wirtz, which I thought was a nice little stat.
Unbelievable. First,
it was incredible.
We have to speak about Nick Pope, though. Unbelievable. Like, absolutely. Like, he saved us this game. Like, Benfica did have their chances, and he was the person that stopped them. Like, first of all, our defense played amazing, but Nick Pope was unbelievable, and he's carried on his performance that he's been showing this whole season. Is why he's the top clean sheet keeper in like the whole of Europe. There's a reason why he's that person. He's just putting in these performances that, I don't know. Like I said, it's obviously the likes of bringing in Aaron Ramsdale that's kicking him on and making him be pushing on to be this better keeper. And
well, Aaron Ramsdale's got a history of making goalkeepers better, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. So wait, listen. Well, he's came in as our second, so he doesn't even know that. There was no promise of him being up there in the front. But
yeah,
wow,
no, it certainly was. And we'll come back to some Newcastle in a bit. Gunner Sulz. And 1 second, let me just check. Yeah, cool. Gunner Sulz. Arsenal tonight. I know you didn't score in the first half, but it's 4 goals from open play, set pieces, not conceding again. You've given Simeone his joint biggest defeat of his Atletico career. Talk to me.
He saw a ghost tonight. If you saw him on that touchline, he saw a ghost. He didn't know what was happening. He thought this was going to be defensive football. He thought this is going to be... We just showed him how to play football from the get-go. They came to London. We said, you're having cold showers whilst it's cold outside. We started the mind games early. We said, you know what? The tunnel isn't enough. Let's do it from the get-go. You want to train at our pitch, you're going to get the full treatment. We turned the hot water off. No, it wasn't just Amazon that turned off their services. We turned ours off as well. And then we decided, you know what? Let's give them a bit of hope. Let's take them into the first half, marinate them a little bit, just be like, oh, do you know what? We're on the same level as you, man. And then Arteta thought, do you know what? It's enough toying around now. Let's actually show them how to score goals. And that's what we did. We just toyed with them. He outclassed them. And this is the thing with Arteta. The issue and what annoys, I think, a lot of people, we know Arteta's capable of taking these big managers to the cleaners. But the issue is, when it really matters, he hasn't done it. He hasn't got it over the line, whether it's the Champions League, whether it's the Premier League. That's what we now need to see. He's got all of the recipes, the ingredients, everything to cook and marinate these teams. It's whether he can get it over the line. And I am going to try and compose myself and not go ahead. I'm trying to be a different person this year. I've gone arrogant. I've gone early. I've gone to the absolute ends to the end. Like, we're going to win the league at this point and we're going to go win the Champions League. This year, I'm taking it game by game. I'm taking it minute by minute, day by day. But today, I don't think anyone can chat to us. 4 goals and 4 beautifully played goals as well, from the set pieces to open goals to any type of way that you want it. And I think the best thing that we can do is Gyokeres getting 2. Regardless of how they are, because I know some people want to talk about the quality of goal he scored. I know one of them, it's a weak shot, and one of them was an open goal. But we need him to start scoring, get that confidence up, get that sort of momentum going, especially with the games that are coming up. Not to disrespect our opponents coming up, but they're the kinds of games you expect a Gyokeres to score. That's why you pay the money. That's why you bring a gunman in to play the likes of Crystal Palace and the lower oppositions to get those goals flowing in each of them. Especially when you look at the kinds of players that, Gyokeres has been compared to, like the Erling Haalands, the Isaks. You're talking about the upper echelons of football with the amount of goals he scored. Granted, it's a Portuguese league and people are going to call it weaker, but this is why we brought him in, to play these games, to end them off. And do you know who deserves big credit? That run from Miles Lewis-Skelly. That was phenomenal. For the fact that he's been out for, 8-9 games, he might have made a sub-appearance or something. That's about it. For him to come into this game against Atletico Madrid and go, do you know what? This is my opportunity to show you guys why I am him. And I told you, Egal, and I'll tell you guys again, Zubimendi will be the signing of the summer, and he's already showing it. And I told you guys he would be beyond levels. You will forget Thomas Partey exists, because Zubimendi is a guy that is the most transformative signing we could have ever made. beyond anyone at this club. The technical levels, the quality that he brings, everything that we needed, Zubimendi is. And today you're starting to see why we're bringing these players in, why we've got the depth that we have. And some of these players aren't even at their best yet. Eze hasn't looked at his best yet. He's still trying to find his way. He's trying to find his feet. And we look this good. He's taking shots. He's confident. And I think that's what we need to do. Like, at the end of the day, we went there. This is an Atletico team, by the way, that beat Liverpool and also went to Madrid and beat them in the Madrid derby 5-2. So it's not like we're playing some bums or scrubs or like an out of form, out of favour, out of, composition Atletico Madrid. We're playing an in-form, firing Atletico Madrid with Julian Alvarez, who's arguably one of Europe's best players at the moment as well, on form, on goal-scoring form. And we silenced them 3 games, 3 wins, 3 clean sheets. It's up to them to beat us. Find a way to stop our set pieces. If you want to complain, find a way to stop us. If you can't, shut up and enjoy it.
Yeah, if you're an Arsenal fan and you're not enjoying what you're doing right now, I shudder to think what's going on in your head, and I wish you all the very best in your life.
Can I say something though? There's a whole lot of Arsenal fans who've been dunking on Arteta for years, talking about Diego Simeone, bring him to the Emirates. He came to the Emirates today and he got thoroughly outclassed. So you guys need to have some goddamn respect for my manager, because I keep hearing some disrespectful things from you idiots. Next thing I'm gonna say, shout out to Gabriel Magalhaes. He's my man of the match. Everyone's talking about Gyokeres' 2 goals, everybody else. I think he is one of the best at both ends of the pitch. By far one of the best centre-backs in the world at both ends of the pitch. Gabriel Martinelli is a different player in the Champions League. I don't know what it is. The pace of the game, the way teams defend us, 3 goals and an assist in 3 games. We talk about all these other performances, but Mazou Skelly, that one run Mazou Skelly's done earned him way more minutes, in my opinion. It's crazy how we're arguing over arguably one of our best players so far this season in Calafiori and Mazou Skelly in this game, who look like he's trying to fight and take that place back.
And neither of them are still our best left back, which is the funniest thing. He still hasn't played yet, so
it's crazy. And then finally, I just want to say we put the whole Champions League on notice once again. Everyone's talking about Atletico Madrid. This is a game where a lot of people are watching. A lot of people are saying this is maybe a game Arsenal could drop points in. The Emirates is a fortress. We don't concede too many goals. We win majority of our games. And at worst, if we do end up having a tough opponent and we drop points, it's a draw at worst. We just know how to get the job done at the Emirates. And if whoever we face come knockout rounds, they know if they come to Emirates, it's going to be a dogfight. And the only team that's going to be worrying me for the rest of this league phase is Inter. Inter's the only other team who hasn't conceded and has scored 1 more goal than us. Arsenal's perfect 9 for 9. And if you're an Arsenal fan who is kind of worried how we're going to do in all competitions, Arteta seems to be doing a good job with the rotation also. So yeah, Diego Simeone, thoroughly outclassed. Arsene Wenger, this was for you. Some revenge.
It's crazy. We still got Madueke, Odegaard, and a few other players are yet to return. Hincampe hasn't even played yet. He hasn't even touched the pitch. And this is the kind of level of depth that we're talking about. When people said this was the summer, I absolutely answered all questions.
By the way, Gyokeres' brace, I didn't even speak about it. You know something about that brace? It was
I'll tell you something about that brace. He scored with his willy. yo boy.
Hey, Haaland did that in the Premier League last year. He scored with everybody part.
You know what I mean?
Hey, you know what this shows?
Hang on. Does that, if you score with your willy, does that class as a headed goal?
Hey, it depends on what part.
Nah, last year Haaland was the only player to score with every part of his body. So there you go. Now Gyokeres is trying to do it.
Bro thinks he's playing rounders, trying to hit it with his bat.
It certainly does there. I mean, on Gyokeres, Anton. I mean, this has been someone you've been very vocal over the course of this week on the terrace, being supportive of, yes, critical at times, but you spoke about him coming good. And yes, his first goal, there was a little fortuitous nature to it, but his hold-up play was good tonight. He gets himself a brace. He was everywhere. He pressed. How impressed were you with Victor Gyokeres overall tonight?
yeah, look, I think the word here, to sum it up, is patience. And I'm happy that a couple of the people here that have been very critical of him are sitting on this panel in the bottom right of the screen. And Sulz.
Hey, listen, my client is yet to come back. We'll see. Competition breeds diamonds. So
no, but what I've been
game.
seeing of the last few games, which is a player who is becoming more comfortable playing in this side, playing in a new league. And I've got a really good example of what Victor Gyokeres does. I've been watching some NFL games as well this week. He's like a tight end, which he opens up space for the other receivers to be able to run their routes correctly. And you saw today, he was literally blocking off space to allow Martinelli to make specific runs, to allowing Saka to make specific runs. And then at the end, he got rewarded by scoring. And this is what I was saying. It took one goal to lift off that, whatever that seal of the goal was for him. After the first, it was only a couple of minutes and there was a second. And all of a sudden, I just got to tell you that these rivals who've been mocking him, Ash specifically.
One game.
You got no. It may be one game, but this is the beginning of something because this opens up the floodgates now. Now that this man you allow this man to get some confidence in front of goal. 4-0 to Atletico Madrid. This is only the beginning of the type of beatings we can give other teams if Victor Gyokeres is firing.
Do you know what? There is one thing that needs to be spoke about. The level of competition that the Premier League has, because what we're all showing in the Champions League is actually insane. It seems like I'd be surprised if every single Premier League team doesn't get through the knockouts.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either. I mean, I know you got beat by Barcelona, but they're in that top echelon. No, but it's not a dig. They're in that top echelon. I think losing to Barca's, Real Madrid's, PSG's, Bayern Munich's. I know none of you want to lose to them, and there's a way of losing, but it's not an embarrassment to lose to teams. Of guys.
I'll take Real Madrid out of that this season.
Well, one more thing I'd like to add here on this is that for all of you guys who have been clamoring for Kai Havertz, I'm just going to talk to my own fan base. Shame on you, because we have been begging for years. Get me a striker, get me a striker, get me a striker. And the minute we have a striker, we can't even wait 5 seconds to allow the guys to settle. And we're already asking for Kai Havertz, who we clearly all agreed was not good enough to play striker for Arsenal Football Club.
I never said that.
Okay. But I have seen people who have said that, not on the stream, who have said, I want Havertz back. And
no,
so
I'm not
having that.
I never said he's not good enough.
Arsenal, as a fan base, we don't let players land. We don't let players land and get a grasp under their feet. We're quick to lay judgment if they do well, quick to lay judgment if they do bad. And sometimes it's just players don't necessarily always go and score 4 or 5 goals in their first 10 games.
It's very true. Shannon, what are you here to say, bro?
Hey guys, look, I think today was just a testament to the quality of the team that we have. I think we've been labeled a set piece team, and I think that's not really an issue to me. I think you have to win what works for your team and your strengths. And I think today we saw Arsenal just remind everybody of what a force we are. Look, I think Atletico had a good account of themselves. I think we could have easily been a goal behind if Alvarez's chance goes in. I think they did give us a bit of a headache, but nothing that I think we couldn't handle. But I'm glad to see that we got the goals, we killed the game, and I think we were professional. I think, yes, they had a little bit of their moments, but other than that, I think Arsenal were relatively comfortable in this game. I think we were on the front foot, we dominated, and I think we got our just reward. I think in the previous game against Fulham, we also created chances. We just weren't clinical. I think Gyokeres should have had a couple of goals last game, and I think today's just a combination of that continued pattern. Like Arsenal, I don't know who said it on one of the streams. I think the only team that will stop Arsenal winning the league, I generally think, is Arsenal. That's I generally think that because we are very competitive all phases of the game. Like someone here mentioned, Gabriel, for example, is super solid going forward and super solid defensively. And I think that's our entire team. We're very well balanced. And I don't mind having these blips in games where you win 1-0 here, you win 2-0, then you win 4-0. I won't even be mad if we win 2-0 against Palace. I don't need to blow teams away. I just need us to be professional, do the job, and just get to certain landmarks in the season. I'm not getting too ahead of myself. It's still October, but I'm seeing things that are giving me confidence because I'm seeing the players click. Like someone mentioned now, Gyokeres is looking better. We have to give players time. And I think Havertz being back is only a good thing for both players. Because I remember preseason, guys, Gyokeres scored and Havertz came on and immediately scored a really great goal. He ran from the halfway line and I think he scored against, was it Benfica?
Shan, can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question to what you're alluding to? I feel like Arsenal, I know you haven't won a major trophy since the FA Cup, and I get that. But what I don't get, and I think you're alluding to, is this kind of weird infighting of setting this player off against this player and this player against that player. I get that at teams and clubs that are in turmoil, that are full of toxicity. Your squad are together. They're with your manager. You're top of the league. You're joint top of the Champions League group. I agree with you. It should be, we're getting Kai Havertz back. More options, not put him in over him. He's this. The way the conversation, it reminds me of when you guys were in your peak Wenger out era where it was player wars, manager wars, fan wars. I just don't see the need for Arsenal fans. I'll be blunt with you as all. I don't see the need for you guys to be toxic with it. You're in a really good place.
100%, bro. And horses for courses, because there's going to be games where Havertz is going to be what we need from the start of the game. And there's going to be games where Gyokeres, there's going to be games that they'll play together that I think we will eventually see the fruits of. And I think, I said before, we're not used to the luxury. So we're not sure how, it's like, a guy that's never been with a really pretty girl, he doesn't always show how to act. He's a bit indecisive. And I think, guys, we have the most beautiful girl. Like, you can be calm. Like, we might not have won a trophy yet, but there's nothing statistically that proves that Arsenal are not amongst the top 5 best teams in Europe. Us being second is not such a dig as people make it seem. There's just been teams that are better than us, but our level has been exceptionally high. So I think as a fan base, I think, we need to, and I've been saying this, is control the narrative around our club. People can call us a set-piece team. It's fine. We're winning. Because when we were losing via set pieces, we were labeled as soft. And now that we're able to be a more complete team, now they're saying, everyone always give excuses. So I think we need to just.
No, they're scared, Shannon. They're scared. That's all it is.
Bro, and it's okay. And I think
it's a badge of honor.
I think as Arsenal fans, listen, I'm not getting ahead of myself. We probably will lose games this season. And I think as a fan base, it's how we react to that. It's like, okay, guys, in a 38-game season, you probably could lose about 3 or 4 games, right? Give or take. But it also depends on what the other teams are doing. Liverpool have lost 3 league games in a row, so that gives us a bit more room for error, can I say? So when the inevitable blip happens, just control your rational around it. Let's not lose our heads, because football it changes quickly. So yeah, I may not go on a long monologue, but overall, very happy, very professional performance. On to Crystal Palace. I think we celebrate tonight, but I think on to Palace, get another good win. Let's get a real run going. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but just get the wins. Because at this point of the season, it's just about getting as many points and your style of play clicks in later in the season. But yeah, that's just my take, guys.
I hear that. Thank you, bro. Brannon. You must be happy. So, do you know what? I love Brannon. He's been coming on the show many, many years. And you've had some, me and you haven't really, but you've had some moments on there, especially with Egal when Pussygate and everything else. But you must, that sounded really bad, but yeah, that you must be very, very happy with tonight.
Of course. Actually, pre-match preparations for me was a blanket and a pillow because I thought we was in for a ball fest tale, to be honest with you. I thought Atletico, defensively structured, that's what they're known for. Arsenal, not really known for breaking teams who are defensively structured down very well. But I was surprised, to be fair. And I genuinely thought that we dominated that game from start to finish. In the first half, yes, the only thing that was missing was the goal, but we're creating multiple chances. Everybody looked on it. I thought Gabriel Martinelli was very good tonight. And I thought Urian Timber was exceptional again. And it just goes to show that, the amount of competition for places we've got at this team at this moment in time, everybody's fighting for their spot. A couple of the guys have pointed out Miles Lewis-Skelly, not played for quite a while. Slot straight back into the team, looks like he's been playing every week. Martinelli looks like he's been playing every week, even though he hasn't. And that's the good thing about having this squad. I'm very confident, Tel, that we will win something this season with this squad, because there's no way we can't. When you look at the players that we're bringing off when we go 4-0 up, and then the players that are coming onto the pitch, and there's hardly a drop in quality, really. The quality in this strength and depth in this Arsenal team is ridiculous. But that was our acid test tonight, and we passed with flying colours. 4 goals. Yes, the first one was set piece again. You know, any other team. I mean, I used to say that Arsenal scoring from set pieces, is that really sustainable? But we've sustained it for nearly 2 seasons now. So maybe we could sit there and say, if this was any other team other than us, then maybe it's not sustainable. But it seems to be a sustainable way of scoring for us. Open up the floodgates. It was good to see Gyokeres score 2 goals. He desperately needed that, because in the first half, I've got to admit, I was sitting there thinking, you know, he looks like he's slotted in a bit better. He's definitely warming to the task of being an Arsenal striker. He works really hard on and off the ball. Bit clunky at times. And I'm thinking, is that going to be the thing that makes Mikel Arteta make the decision? Do you know what? Maybe we play Havertz, because Havertz on the ball gives more in terms of his technical ability on the ball is a lot better than Gyokeres is. So I was worrying for him in that first half, because I'm thinking, you know, we brought you in to be a goal scorer. You're not really scoring at the moment. I know it's very, very harsh to be saying that, because he is only settling into the side. But I look at Havertz returning from injury. Is the manager going to prefer him? I don't know. But 2 goals to give him confidence tonight is a good thing. You know, hopefully he can carry on that scoring run. He's definitely starting to settle in well. And the thing is, Tel, I don't even think we're at full tilt yet. And that's the thing that's given me confidence. I'm looking at these players and I'm thinking, he's starting to get into it a little bit more, but he's not at his best yet. Saka, prime example would be Saka as well. Beginning of the season, you could see that the injury from last season was still affecting him. Over the last 3 to 4 games, you're now starting to see the Bukayo Saka that we all know again. You know, Trossard's come into the team and he's scoring goals. Everything at the moment is running perfectly smoothly for Arsenal. And I don't see us losing many games, Tel. I mean, we've conceded 3 goals all season. And we don't give away many chances either. I mean, tonight we give 1 or 2 chances away to Atletico, but that was through our own mistakes. I don't see teams creating many chances against us because we don't allow them to. And unless we make mistakes ourselves, I just don't see how we're going to concede goals. I don't see us losing many games. I think the only thing that can maybe hurt us is draws. But if we continue to keep playing like we have been, especially since the Newcastle game onwards, I'm quite confident we can win something this year. In fact, I'm quite confident we could win maybe 2 trophies this year. When you look at that squad,
you could. I think the Champions
Premier League and Champions League.
Well, but this is the thing, right? In the Premier League, a lot of teams will be happy to get a draw against you. Fulham didn't even want to lose 2-0. They just went, we'll just take the one, we'll take the loss, and no more goals being conceded. The Champions League is different because teams, yes, it's in the knockout stages, a team could theoretically just play for a draw, play for extra time, and try and win on penalties. But that's such a gamble. At some point, Champions League teams are going to open up, and when you get to the knockout stages, you are going to be up against teams that will attack you. And I think that's when Arsenal are going to be at the most potent. If you can maintain this defensive discipline when you're up against teams that open up more, that's when I think Arsenal could get some real...
You know what else seems to be a feature with us at the moment as well, Tel? We seem to be learning from mistakes, past mistakes, against teams that we would have faltered against before. Like, for example, Newcastle.
Arteta praise? Interesting.
You say interesting, Egal, but I've been saying this anyway. You know, it's not necessarily Arteta praise. I'd say, he takes credit. Of course, he's the manager. But also, I think the squad makes a massive difference. I think we can all sit here and say, now that we haven't got a bench. Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
I'm joking.
He takes credit. But I'm not going to sit here. I'm not going to sit here and overpraise him because he's not yet won anything.
You've already done that. Not even knowing it.
Not really.
Well, I just want to point out that if Brannon is being this positive, things must be going really, really well for this club.
It's a new look, Brandon. It's a new look outlook. It's just everything's new.
Yeah, Brandon. By the way, bruv, you look so much better without a beard. You look slick, bruv.
I look about 12.
You look younger. You look younger and less homeless. Like you look much better, man.
Brandon was looking like Liver King.
Is this what happens when you get a win?
But yeah, it's like I was saying, we're learning from past mistakes. The Newcastle game, we've corrected that.
Liverpool could take a note from that.
Yeah, true. Yeah, true. I mean, we've got Bayern. We've got Bayern coming up.
We need to revenge on Bayern, man. We need to.
I said that from the day we drew against them. I'm like, we're getting revenge.
We play Slavia Prague next, then we can.
I'm just saying, I want my revenge on Bayern, man.
Yeah,
I'm sick of that team beating us.
Yeah, they're really good again this year. That'd be a really good game. That will be.
This season can just be called Revenge Tour because we're just gonna go around slapping everyone who beat us in the past.
Mate, I'm on it. I'm on loan. I'm with you, boys. We're together. We're together.
I love this joke, Terry.
There's only one.
I love the fact that people take it kind of seriously, which I found funny at the weekend. Someone actually mentioned that. How can you ever want any other team but your own to win? I'm like, did you not notice every Arsenal fan in the country celebrating Man United won at the weekend? Because it's not celebrating Man United's win. They're celebrating it did say for their club. Football fans are weird online, I tell you. Seb, me old mate.
There's only one thing. There's only one thing that can stop Arsenal other than Arsenal, and that's Erling Haaland. He's a joke.
I thought you were going to say Egal.
I'll need to play him one more time this year.
Anyways, love guys.
Cheers, man. Appreciate it. Seb, what you saying, brother?
So I just got back from work. I had to watch it on my laptop at work, but everyone was saying Haramble. Everyone was saying terrorist football before this. All the memes were out, the low blocks. And you know
Jamie O'Hara.
Jamie, that was horrific earlier, but everyone credit to Arteta. What an attacking game that was. What a beautiful display. Even in the first half, we should have been two up easily. Absolutely battered them. And this is no joke of a team. This is an Atletico Madrid side that's never lost by that margin in the Champions League ever, especially under Simeone. And we battered them. This team just beat Real Madrid. They stuck 5 goals past Real Madrid. And we just slapped them up, slapped them silly. It was so good seeing Gyokeres score his goal. Even Lewis Skelly proving that he should still be in this side with that beautiful run he made. Martinelli is proving the doubt was wrong. Even me, I was having heavy criticism from last year, but that was a wonderful finish. But overall, we just took our chances, absolutely ground them down. And it was the perfect performance, really, that we needed, especially with Gyokeres getting his brace. I've just had a bet with my mate who supports United that he said he won't hit 20 goals in the league. I was like, I'll take that all day of the week. He's going to hit more than 20 in the league. This should hopefully kickstart his run. But it was the perfect evening. I just seeing that celebration. Apparently, Anton, it was real. Gyokeres and Gabriel doing that celebration together as a pair. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful. And the fact we did score a set piece. Jamie O'Hara, I hope you're watching that because I hope we win every game by set piece, just so it rattles absolutely everybody.
I hope every goal is a set piece goal.
Why would you not be happy with being so good at something else? We've got 16 more goals than everybody else in the last few years. So it's just like, why would you not use that tactic when you're good at it? If Spurs were like that, he would not be complaining at all if they were top of the league and doing that on set pieces. But the perfect display today, and I couldn't have asked for more. Apart from getting more corners, so Mayaka came in. But apart from that, I'm pretty happy with the result there, I think.
Baz won.
I was too busy running around my house like dancing that I forgot to look at the screen to see what the players were celebrating. So I was awesome that was a real.
When Maguire scored the other day and we got the opening goal, I ran around the house celebrating. And the only bad thing about it is you come and sit back down and go, "Oh, did you get to see it again?" Like it's annoying. Yeah.